Constructed in the late 19th century during the so-called Ringstrasse era, the Natural History Museum in Vienna was conceived by Gottfried Semper and Karl Hasenauer. At the time, the spirit of historicism reigned in architectural circles, and thus this building of almost palatial size may be considered a Gesamtkunstwerk in the best sense of the word. Neo-Renaissance stylistic highlights and dimensions reminiscent of the Baroque period are enhanced by theme-specific artworks and a magnificent cupola, indeed a cathedral of the sciences. Living creatures await the visitor in the museum's vivarium, the aquatic inhabitants stemming from the brooks, streams, rivers, coral reefs, and seas of the world. This interesting and oftentimes colorful segment of the museum experience has not only found great favor with the general public, but likewise serves as a venue for scientific research of the fauna population. And on occasion, there has been reason to celebrate the arrival of new generations. Leading up to the collections, one is overwhelmed by a huge amethyst geode of Brazilian origin. The Natural History Museum, which can boast an inventory of over 20 million objects, is likewise in possession of one of the 5 largest mineralogical collections to be found in the world. Only a fraction of these minerals, rocks, and precious stones, approximately 20,000, are on display in the showcases of the museum. And in accordance with the original concept of the founders, namely to create a setting where science meets art, many of the exhibits are singular realizations of that philosophy. It might be interesting to point out that the origins of the museum inventory date back to the middle of the 18th century. At that time, Emperor Franz Stephan I purchased a large and scientifically documented collection of natural history specimens from a Florentine scholar. And the emperor would spare no expense in making additions to his collection that was originally located in the Imperial Palace, and which he visited every day. One exhibit pays tribute to the miners of yesterday. So many more are simply spectacular. But even then there are superlatives, gold and platinum nuggets, one of the largest known precious opals, and Colombian emeralds of exquisite quality. The absolute highlight is a bouquet of precious stones that was presented to Franz Stephan by his wife, Empress Maria Theresia, boasting 2,102 diamonds and 761 precious and semi-precious stones. Nurturing the general public's interest for the natural sciences was and still is the goal of the museum. Especially for members of the younger generation, doing is every bit as important as seeing. More experienced eyes can appreciate the harmony that has been achieved through the brilliant combination of priceless artworks with scientific exhibits, which bridge the eons and are occasionally enhanced by informative modern-day installations. When weary feet yearn for a rest and minds the chance to digest all that has been seen and learned, a delightful cafe in the heart of the museum answers both these needs and provides tasty treats in a room with a view. At the museum shop, books, brochures, and exhibit replicas can be obtained, all of which complement a visit to one of the world's top 10 museum venues, the Natural History Museum in Vienna.